for the side of FNATIC. And of course, I wouldn't necessarily call this like a grudge match. Like, I don't think you're going to look at both these teams and go, oh yeah, there's a lot of bad blood. But you have to look at this from FNATIC's perspective. They only lost to a couple of teams over at Masters.
Holy fuck.
One of them was in the grand
Are they
final.
On a radio?
The other
yeah.
was to Gen G. So I think they will want to sort of prove that, okay, this squad may have beaten us in the last tournament, but
is he casting from his iPhone?
Ended up in that trophy battle. Texture, pistol in hand, always deadly, but Kayak is going to deal with him before anything more can happen.
Yeah, he certainly wasn't falling for the decoy. That's a lot of damage delivered. Munchkin and Karen very low indeed. They'll be invading the smoke, looking to move towards tree, clear out that space, but little do they know that wraparounds come in. FNATIC have a lot of control. They're waiting for every push. Crashies is grabbing one with the classic.
Yeah, I'll just do a small one.
It's a flawless display from that attacking side. Not that they're up against a stacked economy. We don't expect a lot from Gen G, but something would certainly be nice. And, well, at least they've got Boaster with a full magazine of the classic. That got a little bit scary.
I'm not making it all the way.
There was a moment in LPS head where he went, I could help him, but I'm not going to. He genuinely just kind of went, no, I'm not swinging that. That's all you, bud. You've got this. And then didn't even hit the shots anyway. He had to be saved by Kayak, who was thankfully a little bit kinder than maybe he was, but at least adds a slight amount of additional cost to FNATIC as they'll go into what will be the bonus round. But ultimately, this is where things should get that a little bit more interesting. No operator in yet for the defensive side. They can't quite afford it.
Demon stream with the Demon? Don't say that because I will.
Just a little bit. Although both teams have proved to be quite
I'll let you get into my
on
fucking bed and go to sleep.
So perhaps Gen G getting on that board early.
I just told Myung to turn my stream off when the matches are over.
You already see Alfier and Chronicle down and out of the round.
Even consider
well
this,
handled in these early fights, and I mean, what you're left with now, a little bit of aggression going in towards A main. It's opened some space for Kayak. He's pressured it, but he's caught by Munchkin. Covering all their bases here are Gen G. And although, you know, we come into this round, there are weaknesses for FNATIC.
I can watch from my bed,
like
dude.
This,
I bring my mouse, my headset, I move the microphone.
Like there were a lot of opportunities as well, where it was 1v1s, but just every single fight ended up going in the direction of Gen G. Like, I think Kayak coming back through is maybe the most surprising of the lot, just getting absolutely domed by Munchkin. And that's the fun thing about Ascent for them, is this sort of the map where obviously he still has a lot of that supportive utility, but it's kind of one of the only maps we haven't really seen him play Viper. Like that's sort of what he's been leaning into a lot recently. I think it's his most played agent by far. Picks up the KO and has that little bit more of an opportunity to be a bit more aggressive.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Munchkin going into Icebox Sunset and have a little bit more of that. I wouldn't say comfort. It's not like he's uncomfortable here on the KO. Again, that decoy going through, it won't be falling for at all. Texture's doing a great job. I mean, every time he sees that Yoru opening up, running it down, he knows that's not the real one. And he goes hunting for him, finding the opening pick here again. And FNATIC, again, there are already those weaknesses. You see Boaster come in with a stinger, but this is the round that you want to see FNATIC bounce back on. You mentioned that both teams pretty good on the attacking side. If you see Gen G run away with this early, it could be very dangerous for FNATIC. And already it's a 5v3.
Stay down.
B2.
Yeah, it seems to be getting worse and worse. And again, a lot of these don't seem to be tradable fights. Which, against a lot of teams, for FNATIC, that would be all right, because they'd win a lot of them. But in this case, they are losing these picks every single time. None of them able to take it over the line. And wow, there is a clear amount of information for Gen G right now. I wonder if this just becomes a save.
Going to bed?
Realistically, 2v5,
well, the thing is,
your economy's in the bin for the next round anyway.
30 seconds left.
What are the chances that you manage to get into one of these sites, find a pick, and get a post-spawn? With 25 seconds left, almost zero.
Yeah, and if you run to the A site, like, you couldn't be foolish enough to think that they've abandoned it to go towards B main after what an orb gets tapped inside. What they have done is pushed up
10 seconds
Munchkin
left.
All the way up mid, looking for Crashies, who's just around the corner. Flash is perfectly timed, but Crashies lands the shot. The first for this squad. Paranoia put through. A smoke even going down. A desperate attempt to keep Gen G back. And although Ash pressures a little bit, I think they'll get out with both of those weapons.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted to overextend. Like, that's the thing. At this point of the game, their own finances aren't exactly built to a point of no return. It's not like they've got like 3-4 buys able to come in a row. So although it would be nice to remove all those additional weapons, I think it comes down to just making sure their own economy becomes strong. And you can see it now. That one player dropping means that there's an opportunity for Texture to buy back in with the operator. And this is another conversation that's been had a lot around Gen G, is like, is this guy the best sniper in the world? I think he's definitely up there. We watched him play earlier versus Kankan. It was another one that was in the conversation, and there wasn't a conversation.
What if I went to a
lot of it did still revolve around Foxy9 having a crazy game, but when the operator was put into play, he was definitely still up the top, and he's already had... This is definitely risky, though. It's risky because he's alone, and they have a low buy. It makes me a little bit nervous, but... It doesn't overextend too much. Ooh. These first engagements have been a little bit shaky for Gen G.
Yeah, I mean, they're certainly not afraid to take some risks, that's for sure. Quick shot by Texture. This time he does get caught by the clone.
I could make
the decoy on its way, but
I'm just
he's not going for that crazy
over
aggression. Doesn't have the dash online anymore, so much more tempered.
We'll see how this rest of this one goes, but maybe we call it after this one.
To hold down on short. You can see FNATIC are looking to pressure him. It will probably be that Yoru flash. No, in fact, the Vice one to pop to open this up. Finding a little bit of trouble in converting the kill, but they get there eventually. Now the pressure left onto that A-side holder. Charon at least able to grab the opening. A couple players low, and he's connecting shots.
Yeah, the gun's still in play, but the time really is ticking, and they still haven't been able to isolate Charon at all. In fact, he's just taken over the round. Oh, it loads him. Oh, that must have been a few HP difference from having an ace already in the tournament. It was incredibly close, but nonetheless, that was perfect from Charon. Just having that different target isolation, creating himself space.
Mr. 4K, that's Texture and Cryo, not Karen.
Tried to throw in the
but fuck it, we'll give it to
displace him, and he danced around it like it was nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that push, though. Alphier's running it through while Boaster's putting down his glove full of smokes. Chronicle gets caught on low HP on short, and then, well, as you said, a bullet or two away from the ace. That's certainly not taking the wind out of his sails being denied it, though. He is a happy man. And I think Gen G off to a flying start.
Is that happy, or is that, oh, I was so close?
No. That was a smile on his face there. You take the round win like that, and you start to deny that early success for FNATIC on the attack side. You force them into a tactical pause already. That's a big win for Gen G.
Remember when Karen still Texture's ace? That's karma.
Wanting to get in a bit early. I don't think that's a bad sign from
I think it was
FNATIC. Like, this half definitely hasn't fallen too far out of control. But as you mentioned, you look back to some of their previous results, and I don't think it's crazy to say that they're good on both sides of the map, but at least versus Sentinels and RRQ, you're looking at 8 or 9 rounds over on the attack side. And the same can somewhat be said for Gen G. The last time they played it versus Paperix, 8-round attack. So a lot of that, again, comes down to when you have this solid setup around someone like Texture, he's terrifying. So I do think that's something that they have to take into consideration.
Why does this sound so weird?
Definitely not.
That's a good spot.
What's happening right now?
Much to worry about just yet.
By the way, they have a chamber. I just noticed.
Round seems like the ideal place.
They've had their moment.
Saw him.
Tarik with his ult to clear a lot of space. You can see they're on their way towards this.
What a molly.
Maybe hinging on Alpha, finding one of these opening picks. It's been a lot of individual fights, but of course, with him being able to just TP out of here, you're not surprised to see him playing that little bit more loose. The smoke down won't deny anything for him.
What are those dates on the player cards? 210.
Will open up some opportunities.
Yeah, this is where we get to see if we are going to get the Foxy9 of earlier today under serious pressure. Paranoia has missed, but he's just managed to dodge almost everything. Still shoots the drone, but takes the man down himself as well. Kayak gone. And what was an attempt to put pressure onto Foxy9. Well, I'll take a look at his HP, Mitch. I think it's at full.
He's not using that.
Not even a shot landed in return. Yeah,
but it applied pressure.
Again, this guy's on form today. I understand trying to remove him from that B site. The paranoia being sidestepped, though, gives him such a leg up in that fight. The TP, it goes towards the spawn. It's a bold play, but I think they'll have that information. Certainly a good inkling of it. 12 seconds left. An ult committed and the spike dropped on the floor. No movement from Gen.G. No panic. And indeed, no time left for this play. Chronicle, the best he can do here is probably save that weapon. The fourth is locked in for Gen.G, and this was a big buy coming in for FNATIC. Yes, Chronicle will walk away with a Vandal, but the damage is done.
Yeah, and as well, like at this stage, you do have a lot of credits for Gen.G, so they can afford to take that risk to try and remove the extra gun. I think they are just getting stalled out though. Like they try and make a move off the back of the ultimate. You see all the nanoswarms slowing them down.
Gotta be Angel, right?
Rotation coming in from the
motherfuckers like 45 or what, dude?
They're so tunnel visioned in onto. I think it was what Ash was doing that it almost becomes just too easy for Foxy9 and Charon at the back of the site to be able to just hold on to things. 4 and 2, extending that lead. Tour de force alongside that rifle. Actually, Chronicle's not far away. The Tour de Force will get absolutely nothing. That is what I talk about when I'm saying that Texture with the operator is just a terrifying force.
Yeah,
one of the main dangers of this round already gone.
Yeah, one of the main dangers for Gen.G, but for FNATIC, Texture still alive and lurking around. This guy is going to be difficult to deal with. He's already 7 and 1. The form hitting Foxy9, your solo site holder most of the time. He's there as well. For FNATIC, they need their own heroes to step up to the plate. We expect a good attack side already. It's looking like it will be 5 locked in.
He's got 5,900 credits, and he's playing with a judge. Just making sure that even if they do manage to kill him on short, the gun they'll get as a
I'm still watching your hot ones.
Help them out too much. An uncharacteristic shot. That was the warning. But again, FNATIC are playing this time so low. They're expecting aggression. They're expecting faces, someone to go and try and give them a pick, and they're getting absolutely nothing from it. And okay, they've got past one of the demons over on the side of Gen.G, but
what the fuck just happened? I looked away.
We questioned if he would keep up the form from the best of one early today.
Focus, buddy.
So the fact is he has. I think it was. He had over 400 ACS, not just in total, but also in both
Another 4K?
Which is just insane.
Yeah, it's rare that you see, and it's rare you'll hear me reference a rating. It might be the first time I've ever done it, but it goes up to 2.0. My man was 2.0. I mean, he couldn't have been any better. And then again, you know, you look at that start for Texture, beautiful. You follow that up then, having Foxy9 one-up him. And sure, it was a 4K against an eco, but still, those dangers, those are the kind of rounds that FNATIC can turn in their favor a lot of the time, but not in this series, not so far. 5-2, a strong start, but a bye comes out for FNATIC. Munchkin not sticking with the judge this time. It's a different approach, leaving the short close hold. I think that was just an anti-eco, understanding that that's a space that's been under-pressured, underutilized by FNATIC so far. They expected the hit to come in. Now, it didn't in the previous, but by the looks of things, this will be the round that they tested.
It's the same play,
to pick up Texture puts a lot of pressure on this split.
Yeah, that's Boaster on 6 HP.
There's another player that makes that exact play.
Charon, always seemingly in an awkward spot, but he has shot himself.
You hit him? Oh yeah, he did.
That Yoru clone. And the Steel Garden is actually going to take his weapon away, so it's whether or not they can put the pressure onto him. The thing is, he'll probably just sit this out. It's not like Boaster can really take that fight to try and clear him, so they're going to have a bit of an awkward position for FNATIC that they need to deal with this man from the back, and they also need to clear underneath the Balk. That's a quick double. Now Charon pounces, and this is all falling apart.
So well done.
Boaster was tagged at the beginning of this round. They get the site, but they just don't clear the positions properly.
Wow,
that
nice
ends up being all too easy.
That was so well done by Gen.G. Damn.
What a start to this first half.
Really, the adversity they just overcame there, losing Texture early, Charon isolated, hit by the Vice-ult, forced out of the site as well. And that's not great for Boaster on 6 HP. Can't really take that fight without trolling. But that means they isolated Munchkin. They had him on his own. And still, he's able to find success on that backside, opens up the window for Charon to come back in and take that fight. That is a round that looked to be, after the opening pick, very heavily favored to FNATIC. They can't get it across the line, and it comes with a heavy cost as all of their credits now gone. Gen.G looking for that 7th, favored to take it across the line, and Texture, he might be picked off early in the previous, but you ain't getting away with that 2 times in a row.
I was about to say, he only has 2 deaths. So realistically, they've not got away with that much whatsoever. And I think that was Itchy the first time they've caught him since he's had the operator. So
what the fuck is going on?
It's not looking great. Oh, he's not going to fall for that one. This isn't a Durka fake. Come on, FNATIC. Grind to a halt.
I don't know, they're doing a test. I don't know what the fuck's happening.
I think that's a bit wild.
We're gonna stay here.
He gets away with it, that's the main thing.
Didn't quite expect him to be pushed up into that corner, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe going for a slightly deeper jump into mid, but it's a bit of a gamble. Again, 40 seconds on the clock. No real ground garnered for FNATIC. They will at least move the crosshair of one. Well, Foxy9, I think he's decided, you know what, I've had this ult for a while. I've been holding on to it. Let's just stick that one out, try and buy them and buy myself a little bit of extra time. Push coming in to his left, but he's still going to survive.
Foxy's anchoring like a beast. 2v3. Winnable.
But it is a plant, and it is guns picked up for FNATIC. One of the better opportunities they've had. It's still not going to be easy, though.
I mean, he bought a lot of time there, Foxy9, and with Texture coming back in, op in hand, you don't expect to see many shots missed. Great
what
paranoia.
A flash.
That gives Texture an easy kill. The dash
what a flash from
as Caroline takes Chronicle out of the round. It is a clean retake for Genji. Foxy9 does his work to pick up the double entry, and from that point, you weren't really doubting them, but once the paranoia hits, it seemed like a certainty. 7 on the board for Genji. FNATIC will have a buy in the next, but this attack side favor that you talked about, Tom, it's certainly not there for FNATIC so far.
No, like they're definitely comfortable on either side of the map, but the problem is right now is a lot of the time we talk about this team's ability to win rounds that they never should really win. That big clutch factor, and I'll be honest, from FNATIC, it hasn't been there so far. Like, you look at this round, you go, okay, 2v3, they have a chance. Paranoia goes through.
They're doing good.
Catches both people immediately.
Full buy for FNATIC.
And that's the round, like,
so
normally you'd at least expect a spark, but Gen.G have extinguished that immediately. They have made sure the sprinklers are going off the second there's any smoke.
Oh, good jump spot. It's
Texture has been spotted.
He's going more?
That doesn't mean he's going to stop, though.
No, but it does mean the FNATIC are going to address that. The Texture's pushing mid. Get the hell out of there. Retreat. And fall back towards this A main push. Now, typically, Foxy9's been on the B side. That's where the Killjoy setup is. Now they're funneling themselves in to Foxy9, to Munchkin, who are ready and waiting for this push to come through. 100's Fury perhaps could help them out in clearing some angles, but they have got one hell of a challenge on their hands.
Oh, he peeked too fast.
Flash and peek. Now the pressure on Foxy9.
Yeah, the rest of the team are incredibly far away, only just looking to make their move through. And this time he has ended up shooting the
Foxy.
But again, he gets Kayak, and there still hasn't been a trade yet, down to just 5 HP and eventually caught out. Boaster, the trade that was necessary. Again, a solid position from FNATIC to fight from. Shock darts going through to at least slow them down a little bit. And you can tell they're expecting a second one to be coming in. It's a round that should be going in.
What?
What? They expected the jump up. He predicted where Alfia is going to be. And now, well, Texture looking around the corner, wrapping in as quickly as possible. They haven't really needed him to go crazy in rounds, but this retake is looking all too easy. Only man standing. And Crazy's got to go. They're already defusing. He's not in the right spot. And even though he gets 2 in the end, it is meaningless.
Texture's kill on Alfia was huge.
That shot through the smoke.
So tragic,
I don't know what the cue was. I don't know if he heard
that is so tragic.
Step as he moved towards the box, counted to 2 and fired away, but that game sense is insane. He knows he's on the angle. Smoke blooms. Like, what was the cue? What was the cue?
He's just predicting the jump up, but
to just completely dive in. That's unbelievable.
Maybe he was thinking, what would I do?
Yeah. I'd probably jump up about now. Yeah. Oh, that's outrageous. And for FNATIC, you've got to just feel like you're being hammered into the dirt now. 8-2. Gen.G expected to be solid on the attack side. And there is no space for FNATIC to play with. Texture with an opening. Karen following up with another. And the round barely started, and it looks like it's over. Munchkin with a chance to use that judge.
No way brother has
and
a
he's
judge.
Only picked up the one. That's at least a spark of life for FNATIC. They may be able to get this spike down.
Oh, it's a bait from Kayak. He's hoping for a kill, wanted to try and make a play instead. He has sent them back down to a 1 versus 3 crash. He's trying to catch them while in the drone, but he doesn't know there's two waiting for him on the other side. And that's the thing. Every moment that we have that sort of core EMEA FNATIC belief.
They're starting to run away with it, bro.
This is the round we'll see a crazy clutch. They just get bodied. Like, that wasn't even close. That 2v3 wasn't close. That was just comfortable, easy stuff for the opposing side. Even the last round, there was a 3v4 retake. It didn't look like they were pressed at all. I don't know. It may be just Gen G are the bogey team for FNATIC, but right now, they are looking like a different caliber of squad.
What's that shot there as well from Texture? It's really feeling like in a lot of these moments that they have the perfect read. Like, often when that push comes through,
casual smirk.
Crashies is going to catch someone off guard there. Someone at the door's closing, they either push forward to break it or they're starting to go window to get that heaven push underway. And instead, Texture just sat there holding it with the op. He expects the push and punishes it almost every time.
Where is he going?
One last round to play with, and they're being pushed on. Straight down through mid. Caron's finding one. The door already being broken. And the ult pop through. The Hunter's Fury. I mean, this is just...
He's got to be dead.
Got him.
This is full investment from FNATIC, and they'll at least manage to level the playing field.
Spike planted.
Oh, just in case.
I thought it was real for a second.
Not taking a risk. Smoke's faded, and there's nobody watching the angle. What was an even scenario, at least in personnel, has quickly diminished. Again, trying to pressure onto the drone, but there are always players waiting and watching FNATIC. They're playing for curses at this point, hoping to at least get themselves a third, but that is not looking likely. The retakes of Gen G have been an unstoppable force. Kayak still fighting his best and giving Crutchies a chance, but the trade is immediate. Down to just one man standing, both of them
cutting through.
Desperately low on HP and almost just playing onto that time. Kayak knows that he will have it in the end.
9-3 curse.
It took a lot for them to finally grind out a third round, but eventually the hero this time.
Well, your Ultron looks so real. That's what I said.
Perhaps the curse to bring him across the line. We'll find out how this fares for FNATIC in the second half after the break.
All right, quick break. What is this music? Oh my god, stop it. Holy shit. Shit is freaking crazy, buddy. Did we watch the other game? It's only half, though.
Completely caught out. You're thinking he's dead to right. Surely nothing's going to happen here. This opening pick from Human, by the way, is disgusting. He beats out the tour de force and just snaps onto the...
Thank you for the 3-year resub. Bad Wolf. Heart.
Now an opportunity for BBL to try to break down this hit. And how about Prophet and Magnum just saying, come on into
what the fuck is happening
spinning
here?
It through the annihilation, causing a bit of an issue, but a mere inconvenience is more what it feels like as freeing. Run him down.
Welcome back, folks. It is 9-3 in favor of Gen G. They have been lights out on their defensive side, putting 9 straight rounds and a close 1v1 that got FNATIC up to 3 to close out the half. Now, Gen G on the attack, somewhere we expect to see them putting up rounds, and if that's the case, we'll be going to Icebox very soon.
9-3 curse?
With their back against the wall, but hell, we know that's where they can be the most dangerous.
9-3
it was literally 9 rounds in a row for Gen G. After they lost the pistol in the last half and came out with 9 rounds. very easily.
I think it's a lot to ask for right now,
that's
but
what this
anything's possible.
Has been so far. They have been the better side, but now it's up to FNATIC. And more importantly, I want to see more from Alfia. We talked about the consistency over at Masters Toronto and what he was able to do, but we haven't seen it just yet. That's a nice start, though. The lifeline of the pistol necessary.
Kayak, nice shot.
Kayak gets the first kill.
Down to a 5v4.
This
pistol's so valuable for FNATIC if they can find a Kayak. And Crashies. Chronicles there too. The whole team stepping up to bring the pistol into FNATIC's favor. That's 2 for 2 now on this map, but they are still trailing by quite a lot.
Yeah, it is definitely a long road back into it. Of course, this, again, is one of those compositions that I think facing into a defensive side will be quite unorthodox. You've got those Vice setups, which are always difficult to get through in a pacey manner, and then you're going to have that aggression out from Alfia. My only worry, though, is the fact that he's just not been on the board just yet. Like, it has been a very, very quiet game from Alfia. Whatever
Alpha's warming up.
You're talking about, like a 3 and 11 is not something you'd normally see.
5 light armors on FNATIC.
Right, all right then. We're just spamming smokes and getting 2 kills, are we, Crashies? It's a little bit of a different ball game, and then he throws out the dart, you know, because he didn't need it before. Just gets the timing. At least padding those stats a little bit. Realistically, I was going to say they want to try and keep things clean, but he has gone down.
Yeah, 1 loss, not too major. Little execution from Chronicle. This one's looking like it will be a relatively clean closer.
Where are you going?
The steps heard as Munchkin's running about in spawn.
Oh my god, he almost got him.
Although he catches Chronicle off, the classic shots don't land. 9 to 5, 4 players alive. FNATIC, well, this is exactly how that previous half started, but then it was 9 straight rounds for Gen.G, something that's not possible here because the game would end before that.
Yeah, I think it's always going to be very difficult. Like, you can take a lot from how we saw the retakes played in the last half. Like, the setup from Gen.G was fantastic. Like, they're so good at putting texture into positions where, well, and Caron, if I'm being honest, like the amount he was teleporting into angles and just taking aggressive fights. Now you put them onto the attack side, well, they can do that from the get-go. And immediately, we're going to see that operator blow up into Alfia. The belief definitely still there that he can take over, he can dominate this map. And you can see from the positions on the map that maybe a little bit tentative to fight into middle from Gen.G, knowing that there could be some danger in that part of the map.
Well, the danger's coming to them. Not just in this B main push, but Alpha's now stepped through mid to the short push as well. Foxy9 locking it down on one side. And it looks like they'll look for space in mid, but not without that drone going through. That's a key part of this play. It actually hasn't spotted Alpha. It only saw the player up on short, but that's enough for Gen.G to decide to wrap all the way around through spawn. In the meantime, the A push comes in, and well, it could be a mistake.
Oh my god.
Able to pick
How did Chronicle die?
Stop short of taking down Texture, and so a 4v2, presumably post-plant, will be underway. Oh, they got a 3v2.
That's a bit of a nasty surprise for Ash. And with both players still holding
only
on to their
2 guys
weaponry,
on site. KJ doesn't spawn.
It's not out of the realms of possibilities.
What a lurk.
More so if they want to gamble these 2 guns.
What a crazy lurk.
Obviously for Alfia, he was hoping maybe he could get a few picks and maybe play towards that tour de force, but he is not even remotely close to it. So
this seems too hard.
A loss here would mean maybe not having a rifle at all in the next round, but definitely not having the operator. And already that late positioning from Foxy9 has completely caught him off. It leaves Kayak alone versus 3, still going for it. A nice shot onto the first. I think a lot of this may come down to either trying to save the operator or at least pick off the remaining members of Gen.G as they exit, while Foxy9's read is just sublime. The man is having a great day of Valorant.
Well, I think fairly easy for him there. The flash goes out, nobody's peeking, no noise made. What was the point? And of course, he correctly deduces that it was all a ruse. Great round from him, a great map indeed from him as well. And Garon, it was a bold play to go up on top of that wall, but he was supporting Texture. Together they cleared that.
Is it weird that if I had to evacuate right now, I'd grab my wallet, keys, and my little
as well. And a decent blow to the FNATIC economy with that. This round, well, this could be the beginning of the end for FNATIC already. It's 10 to 5, and their credits fully put on the line. Light shields on, well, light shields on 3 players, regen shields on 1. Not quite able to get that full protection in here, but Kayak, he won't be scared away by the lack of shields. Goes pushing down, has a small angle the turret can't see him from, But Foxy9, he's well aware of that
Do I
possibility.
plan on sleeping? Yeah, probably at noon.
Around any longer. Of course, for both of these squads, you can talk about making it to playoffs, you can talk about fighting for the trophy, but of course both are club partners as well, so they will be fighting for that overall ridiculous prize pool. And I'm sure the organization itself will be hoping that both of these teams are able to bring them some pretty significant points. Of course, the main changes this year is that the consistency over all of the esports is far more important than having one or two big winners. But they'll take the big winners anyway. It's still nice to get 1,000 club points on the board. Boaster under pressure, Stinger in hand. His target has gone walkabouts, and he will hit himself a shot, but unfortunately not the kill. Luckily, Crashies is still going. He's been having a great game so far, and Karen could do nothing about this one. And unfortunately for Foxy9, this time, his luck is just that little bit too far behind. This will be a 6th round onto the ball for FNATIC, and well, although they are still a distance behind Gen.G, it's starting to look a little bit more possible as the rounds go on. It seems like some of them at least are starting to warm up.
The other thing as well, when you talk about the club points, is that the fact that you need to get that first place in at least one of these esports to go the distance and claim the top prize. It takes the pressure off the other teams so that you can build it a little bit later on. You want to find that early on in the season, early on in the weeks.
What a shot.
For FNATIC. Looking at their run internationally, it's definitely not out of the question. But there's a bit of a climb back on this map if they're going to be taking this series cleanly. This has already been a strong performance from Gen.G. A mistake or two is allowed. But at this point, they're going to call a timeout, wanting to get ahead of this early.
Either way, taking it early, similarly to what we saw from FNATIC in that 3-2
BBL score
update.
To
make sure that they keep themselves
6-4 BBL.
Not let this one slip away. Of course, Icebox up next is a strong map for FNATIC. And I think that's the fun thing about this series overall.
Yeah, music is quite intense.
The fact that it does feel like either
true
side
crime documentary.
On top.
A little bit, actually.
I believe is Sunset as well, which is definitely at least going to be an interesting one. I don't think it's been the best map for FNATIC overall, so the fact that both squads have ended up on that map, maybe wanting to prove that there is something a little bit more there for them.
Launching thorns.
But we are still looking at some of those individuals right now for FNATIC. Alfia starting to come alive at least a little bit. It's been Crashy is the one to sort of lead the show. Well, at least for now. Could be forced back a little bit.
Trap destroyed.
Yeah, sending this short pressure, a little bit of a halt. Not sure what's on the other side.
What?
Boaster already giving up a lot of control.
Why are we not talking?
They've got Kayak embedded in wine. And I think just a lot of respect shown towards those weaker weapons, not wanting to give them the close range angle. Short now being held from the site by Boaster up top.
Holy fucking shit, bro.
There won't be any easy fights. Had they have pounced when they wanted to initially, this could have been a different story. The flash will send Boaster back. It's really Texture that's the danger man. The man with the rifle in hand, sneaking into heaven, finding one cloudburst for the crossover. That
Take a nappy.
It's just to get Foxy9 the weapon. Now they're
only
both
way
armed
I can
and dangerous.
ride this
and
day
looking to
out
crunch
is
in on spawn. Cut that rotation off. Information gained by the jump peak, and they execute
watching in bed and I fall
Now
asleep.
knowing there should be only one player on the other side of the map, if any, and it's Alfier with an op. He finds one, but now the numbers are running at him. What a shot!
Oh, this could be big.
Wow.
Finally starting to see some life in Alfia, a third
My
found.
goat.
But it's the spams of Texture that are having to be
My
dealt with
goat.
eventually. Kayak will finish his dinner, and those are the sort of rounds we expected to see from Alfia. You said it. One man was left to try and defend that B site, but a bit of an unorthodox position.
Don't peeking me. Don't peeking me.
His way. That is a massive turning point and potentially such an important round. Bear in mind what was invested into that one from the side of Gen.G. If that one slipped, I almost call it map over.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was one where they have one rifle going into it, find the pick in heaven, gets them an extra rifle, and then isolate Chronicle.
This could have been me.
Now
That
you've
used to
got
be me.
a lot of weapons and a lot of bodies coming towards one man with a
Once upon a time,
very
bro.
high fire rate weapon. But he's able to get it across the line, now putting the gap to 3. A remarkable recovery
10-7 from 9-3.
But this is a bigger challenge.
Am I a whole-time streamer, or I have some other job also?
From Gen G. Now they've got everything to work with.
Yeah, the tough thing for Gen G is that this setup is consistently changing. Of course, you want to have those executions where you can send texture through supportive utility, but you don't know if you're running into thorns. You don't know if he'll get isolated by a wall. You can. That has moved between short, A main, and wherever Chronicle fancies placing it. And then that normally means there's aggression elsewhere on the map. They're having to be incredibly methodical to try and catch out some of these players, but they're using a lot of utility in these early starts to the round. And it means that when it comes to execution,
the one thing I miss from pro play is getting knife kills on stage. And the crowd goes,
Foxy9 put down the alarm bot, but it wasn't fully covering the position. Ends up pulling it back. The ultimate used is that they're not too sure if players are waiting outside B main or not, but now FNATIC have
audible gas.
They know to be ready on the other side. As in goes the ultimate of the Hunter's Fury from a safe distance, and it's Charon to be dropped to the floor.
Come back from a mile away.
3 versus 5 with Ash already gone. But the plant seems to be secured. A lot of this hinges on Foxy9, but they know that he was around B main not long ago, waiting for him to walk up short. And Crashy strikes just in time with Munchkin low. This round seems to already be tied up in a neat little bow. Texture, the only one standing in their way. He would need a 1v5, an ace, and only 2 can be found. FNATIC do well to land an 8th round, and this gap that was looking daunting.
Sleepy Tarik is hilarious, bro. Please never go live fully rested.
Yeah, Texture decided to let them have it because he only ever gets 4Ks, so it's not really any point wasting his own time.
Yeah.
Like, but you always get a little bit worried when he starts hitting headies like that. But no, a great round from FNATIC. Like, firstly, you could tell they realized immediately that, okay, that null command's online. We need to sit back with our utility. We need to have Chronicle away from that A site, at least initially, so that he can activate the Thorns if they do it. And then what we do is we have the Hunter's Fury from afar that could still be activated because it's not in the range. And then we have Alfia with an operator, which it doesn't need any utility. That's Alfia with an operator. And he was a lot more careful with it, at least initially, until he saw that Hunter's Fury for disruption. Once again, a lower buy for Gen G. They do have a few ultimates available to them.
Why are they doing that?
What catches the eye the most is, of course, that Blade Storm available for Texture. They had an incredible
What is that? I don't fucking know. I think someone's fucking with me.
10 on the scoreboard, but
maybe Myung's doing it
quite the
to fuck with me.
7-1
Maybe she's doing it to keep me awake.
Look at this
trying to W me on.
From FNATIC.
He's trying to keep me awake.
Kayak push up in B main early on alongside Alfia.
I mean, straight up, if the building's on fire, like, I'm fucking staying here. I'm too tired to leave.
And there's a vice wall as well.
That's where I'm at. I'm not getting out.
He'll be able to potentially take a pick.
Because you can't take the elevator. I would have to take the stairs.
It's even just the drone.
I'm not making it down there.
Information that could start the rotate.
Yeah, that's the thing. With him being able to teleport back to safety, and then the wall there, it's going to be interesting because for the FNATIC side, they don't really have to move.
If I shave my head, do I think that's just growing back or not? That's the issue. I don't know.
And then by that point, they can get back into the site. It's going to be the teleport across. Now the Hunter's Fury. It's a lot of ults being spammed into position. Bear in mind, this was a low investment round for Gen G, but in terms of ults, it is a high investment round. That's already 2 put into play. I believe Blade Storm's online as well, so that's a 3rd. They need to get something from this.
And it's the Blade Storm, at least to start, but he's being tagged down to 39, trying to use the updraft to pick him off from a different angle. And although the op didn't finish the kill, this round has become a major uphill battle to hold on to that spike control for Gen G. Pistols sitting on the site, at pistol even, it's just Charon. As Alfia goes down, use is underway. Ash is jumping through. They've stopped the defuse. Time is ticking, and FNATIC now under so much pressure.
What the
hell? The Thrifty has worked out. It's an expensive round, but well worth the cost for Gen G.
That's a spike, I think.
No, that's outrageous, though. It wasn't even the ults that won it for them. The ults were null and void by the time. It's like, yeah, cool, okay. We've got ourselves the lockdown. That gave us the site. Okay, we used the Hunter's Fury. That didn't really do anything.
From the shadows.
And then it's just Sheriffs. Like, that's what did it. Like, from this point where all the ults are gone, they should have still lost the round. It's just Sheriff shots from Ash and Charon, and
Oh my god.
And I think FNATIC will watch that round back and be absolutely fuming.
And there wasn't even any surprise element with Ash running
That was
through.
crazy.
He triggered the wall. They knew. Well, he's there. Somehow he's able to find so much value, as is everybody else. Shocking for FNATIC. They've been so clean on this comeback, on the climb back.
Uh-oh. Monka.
Rising to the occasion, but falling at what could be one of the final hurdles. Genji.
Wow.
Ooh,
Wow.
momentum not fully back in their sails. As
They
you can
both
see,
CP'd
Texture
out.
and Munchkin have been ripped out of the round, and Foxy
Oh!
he just ran back through the Razor Vine.
Yeah, that is the whole point of that piece of utility. I think you can't do that, but hey, I probably didn't realize how much damage he's already taken. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, that's the thing for FNATIC. They still have plenty of finances. Like, that is an infuriating round. That's one you're going to want to forget. But they are a team that's very good with their mental fortitude. That's pretty much what we've talked about them and sort of Boaster and Chronicle. Chronicle, I think, might be the king of mentality. I don't know if there's anybody better. Then again, if you have the most trophies, you're probably going to be up there. But for now, at least, yeah, the remaining two just have to say. Like, you're in a spot
Is lock-in
where
same as Masters?
you've just about
Yes or
managed
no?
to get through the last round. I think the Spike managed to eliminate one or both remaining players. I think it was both. So they didn't have the gun saved over. Obviously for Texture, he didn't buy because he had a Blade Storm, so it was a little bit different. But yeah, they need to hold on to these guns to have anything. Otherwise, we could very easily see this leveling up in just a moment's time. So we might be laughing and watching and seeing that Sheriff round and going, oh, that never should have happened. But the fact that FNATIC come back so clean, it almost doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, it's the course correction, right? They've gotten right back on the train tracks. They're not derailed just yet, and that's the important thing, because a round like that can very much cripple your mentality. And with a team like FNATIC, I don't think that's likely to ever happen, especially like Alfier. I think he was on Pie Watch at one point. Now he's definitely feeling it a little more. A little silly death there for Foxy9, and he doesn't look happy about that in the player cam either. I think he thought those vines were a little further forward than they were. Thought he'd get out with 7 HP, but left on 0. And now a timeout called by Genji, a map that they had a huge lead on going into their favored half, that they then managed to upset the rhythm of FNATIC 2 rounds ago. And yet FNATIC answer back immediately. The gap closes and the economy is crushed for Genji. This timeout definitely necessary at this point, because it seems like their hands have been ripped from the reins.
Wow. It really does feel like FNATIC have somehow found themselves in the driver's seat. Like, this really was, like, this could have been 10 or 11 rounds in that first half.
Trust me, that shit is too loud.
And now in the second half, we've seen the rise of Alfier.
I'm off, man. I'm fucking reacting as hard as I can. What do they want from me?
That's not the
Can
start
I actually go check?
Texture already down and out. I think a 10th round. I don't want to say it's guaranteed because they've still got Sheriffs in their hands, and we've already seen what they can do with those. But
I'll go down with the shit.
How many times do you think FNATIC will make that?
I'm going down with the shit, no joke.
I think the answer might be 1.
That's where I'm at.
Well, you know, the other thing is they're not against the Blade Storm lurking mid. They're not against a lockdown to take them out of those deep control spaces. They're not against a Hunter's Fury to delay the retake, or a Charon TP from the shadows to get the plant down. Not quite the same round for Genji. What they do have is a Guardian on Foxy9, and look, with some of the rounds we've seen, that could very well be enough. FNATIC have come back online. They've started to hit shots, and it doesn't feel like they will be crumbling to just one weapon. But I may regret saying that in just a few moments.
I was about to say, they do have a very special set of skills. And that normally involves headshots.
They got my stream on their rig bidding.
They're going to expect the second
player to be there. There's a speaker in my room.
Managed to make it round the corner. That could be a bigger problem, though. There's only one is standing. Foxy9, he's not going to have a gun still for another few seconds. He's already managed to pick one up. I think he's made the realization. That shot's crazy, but the time is ticking away. He needs to grab that spike, and already Alfier is going to make it to the site. 20 seconds. He's going to have a decent idea. He's going to wait for him.
God.
He's not quick enough.
That's
an incredibly nice
try.
Management
controlling it, I guess.
You almost had to eat your words. That was very, very close.
Oh yeah.
Althea's got your back.
That scared me a lot there. When I see him also looking up to heaven, I'm like, okay, he's gonna be shot in the back. Clears the correct angle.
I don't know.
Makes it a
like
1v1. Taps the spike after hearing the player drop. He did everything right there. But Alpha taking out the shorty. Now he's a little bit more tagged up. That's put them within punching distance of Gen G. A squad who won 9 rounds in a row in that first half. FNATIC winning both pistols has kept them alive. The heart still beating for the EMEA squad as they now look to equalize. As Gen G put their credits on the line. No ultimates to fall back on, at least for now. Kayak, he is playing a risky game if he goes through that smoke, but he's decided to be content with that deep mid control. In fact, he's already out of there.
Yeah, he's been quite happy to pressure, but then fall back. Already the operator
scary.
of Althea has been seen. That's the fun thing about the FNATIC defense is a lot of it revolves around aggression with the ability to maneuver yourself to a new position in a second. Even quicker for Althea. And because of that, Gen G are having to spend a lot of time feeling out the map just to try and figure out where they want their execution to take place. They also have to worry about those vines. They've definitely been causing some issues, even getting a kill onto Foxy9 just a couple ago.
I'm not popping a Red Bull because I'm already at the end, bro.
Already the operator has repositioned to try and find a new angle. Here is that null command again.
Oh, the spray's not quite there for Boaster, closing in the distance, and it's Texture on the other side. A reliable man when it comes to those kind of fights, and the spray down is what gets him through the smoke. But Foxy9 dropped. The late lurk up through short, expected, dealt with early, and Kayak now has ultimate to fight his way back in, to clear all those corners on the way into the A site, and that's exactly how this will be used. Already spotting so much info, but they are just getting ahead of it, fighting straight into these angles, and well now, okay, good flash from Kayak, at least levels it up to a 2v2, but Texture wrapping around, he's already out of the door. He wasn't spotted, but Chronicle lands the shot anyways, desperately low on HP. The Classic comes out, but they're both just one shot, and it's Chronicle to keep FNATIC climbing back.
Oh my god, what a retake.
Those are the rounds you expect to see Chronicle winning. Like, it comes down to the millimeter, the slightest of margins. And that fight back continues. He's actually just not seen
what a retake
from Texture, and that just gave him enough time to react. This was the kill. That was the turning point of the round. Just there, just being quick enough to react. And there are a few people that I think are calm enough to hit that shot in that moment. And as said, Captain Cool himself of Chronicle, it just managing to get that over the line. We're also seeing that resilience from Kayak as well. Like, we still have to talk about, like, this is a guy entering his rookie season.
Gen G have a problem with closing games out.
But it doesn't look like it. It doesn't seem like the pressure ever gets to him, even with how far down they were.
An ongoing issue.
9-3 first half, and while we know for FNATIC that's nothing.
FNATIC with a much more passive hold. They've avoided that utility dump, that direct hit coming in on the other side. And this is at least giving them a breath. A moment to stand back and prepare for the retake, because they would have been a player or two down, but that kind of dive from Texture, the paranoia, the flashes coming through. The Hunter's Fury fired into heaven, finds nothing. FNATIC are doing an excellent job of avoiding the utility, but they still have to fight their way back in, and it's the paranoia to lead the way. Boaster lined it up, fired it through, but they haven't dealt with Karen in the corner. He's sidestepping all of those shots, keeping himself alive a moment longer. The op dealt with up top, and now Texture, the final boss of this side, alongside Ash. Winning those fights, but, well, the information is there. FNATIC putting all the pieces of the puzzle together. The time desperately low. The Classic comes out for Ash. And a little too brazen. Just about getting that defuse across the line. You see why he swung so wide. If he could just get behind Dice, that could be a denial of the defuse and an easy round win.
No way.
Chronicle's hit final boss mode. Like, this seems to happen like every single tournament he's in. The game starts to get close. And
I can't hype it up as much as I would like to.
Like, I'm just not going down for the rest of it. Like, the way that he fought back into that site was absurd. Like, just managing to clear out pretty much every single position, switches back, clears main, and it's just like, I've got this. I've got 7 bullets. That's all I'll need to pick off the final player while you defuse. If he misses any of that, his teammate dies or he dies and you lose the round. It's just the second he gets towards those late rounds, it's just like Chronicle doesn't miss.
Yeah, even that 140 tag just around to go. And he manages to flick over and immediately punish Texture. He's been doing a remarkable job. This is the beating heart of FNATIC here in the late stages of Ascent.
What?
He's shutting down that B main push at double before they've even crossed through that utility. A Hunter's Fury fired blindly through, but it's a good tag. Damage dealt to Karen. Chronicle ultimate activated. He's going to remove weapons from their hands just in time as Boasters arriving into the site. They'll have the weapon back very soon. It's just a classic to contend with, and that at least gets him the trade on Chronicle.
Yeah, the Steel Guardian's one of those slow activating ultimates, so the Guardian was still in play to at least kill off the man of the moment, Chronicle. He's died on the site, but as you said, Boasters found that trade. And now with 40 seconds left, it's just a pause from the side of Gen.G. Hoping that maybe somebody rotates back in the other direction, hoping they make that move, but with full mid control
30 seconds left
from Alfia, he's just waiting and watching. Crash, he's on the cross, but he's lost that battle. A big kill for Ash. The operator is going to take him a moment to get back into position. This leaves Boaster, and he gets absolutely nothing. From the depths, Gen.G have risen. It seemed like it was over. Maybe it still is. It's Alfia. Had a horrific first half, but he has been getting better and better as the time goes on, and he is trying to sit and wait and watch for his opponent to make a move. He gets it right, but doesn't quite manage to land the shot. And now on just 3 HP, overtime seems inevitable,
he had the read.
And it will be.
He had
12
the read. Nice
to 12.
Try.
It's going the distance. It's delivering in this matchup for the playoff stage. Neither team wanting to let this one go.
Bloody nice attempt by him. No, I love the idea to just sit back, let your opponent outplay himself, but the shot not hit.
Wait, BBO 1-2-0?
And now you look back to that first half. You look back to Texture.
BBO 1-2-0
with that operator, and you wonder, is it going to be worth the risk? Pull the op out at the risk or the cost of the shields. A trade-off that we may see Gen.G make, and if they do, they'll be right back to winning ways based on what we saw in that first. 9 rounds in a row. All of the rifle rounds, bar one at the very end that was the thinnest of margins. This should certainly be back to comfort. But both teams flipping the script. We expected to see strong attack sides, and well, we've had anything but.
here.
Mentioned Kayak. You got to mention Ash as well. Another rookie on the scene, but you couldn't tell. You'd never be able to tell. Alfia in a decent position. The drone should be guarded. I think the fact that they did it from so close, you have to make the read that there's probably someone else on the other side. It was a gamble, and it's a gamble that has not paid off.
Again, just on this defensive side, it feels like so often Texture's holding the right angle at the right time. A beautiful bait, nade in to slow the execute on the back of this drone. And Texture holding out wide, dash online, and it's not even his kill. Munchkin's the one finding
3v5 has gone so hard.
He dove into the side with the gate crash, has been dealt with immediately. And this push coming through from FNATIC stalled and stopped. They go back in the other direction, but Foxy9's already here in position and missing a few shots, but he gets there in the end. A 5 versus 2, and now it's Munchkin's time to spring the trap. They are one step ahead every step of the way. 13 to 12 for Gen.G. Back to the attack side.
Yeah, the fact is, though, it's been a game of defensive halves. Both team on that 9-3, so FNATIC are going back to what was pretty much favored from them all the way through. But yeah, the early round, I imagine from Alfia's perspective is that you see the turret, you expect the fact that you're already past the turret, that maybe you have that element of surprise.
One enemy remaining.
That is the thing. With this man on the operator, you asked, is it worth the gamble? And the answer was definitely yes. Every single time. It's a hit every time.
Without a doubt, he has delivered. On the attack side, he's been there at times, but Alfia has been able to trade blow for blow. Hasn't gone for the op this time. It's the rifle in hand. Pressure in. He's been suppressed already. They've dove in. They've blinded him. He's revealed as well.
How's he alive?
He's somehow still drawing breath. Now
what?
There to back him up.
What?
They are combining to shut down this push.
Fuck?
That's unbelievable. He was hit by so much utility. I can't believe Alpha made it out of there.
Yeah, that round's all Alpha Yak. I don't know how both of them have managed to just hit shots like that. Kayak somewhat defending him, but also it involved quite a lot of dancing from Alfia. I know he's a talented guy, done sports in the past, but I didn't know he was a dancer, and he's going to be the one to close it out with 3 kills to his name.
Wow.
Another superb round. And another defensive round. That's been the story of this map. Like I said, like both teams have had pretty impressive attack side displays. It can be argued that they're both solid versus other opposition on either side of the map, but this really has just been defensive dominance. And
wow.
I feel like it's going to be whoever can manage to get themselves that attack round that might just break the deadlock.
Not quite what you would have expected coming into this matchup
right.
at all, but
Double OT.
Sometimes that's the beauty of Valorant. It can be unpredictable. Genji back, and of course the op out for them, but Alfier,
yeah,
he's trading up. He's doing the same. Attack side operator in play, and perhaps an idea to counter some aggression from Genji. If they push into mid late, he'll be there to catch them. They go for that short peek, but there's nothing to be found as the drone goes through and attempt to spot out that hold, but it is Foxy9 spotted on that side of the map. They need to find texture. If it's not with utility, it'll be with a body hitting the floor.
Oh, double up. Definitely going to be difficult to clear with the operator. Maybe he gets one, but yeah, it's a one and done, and Karen just about quick enough. And then they find out where texture is, unfortunately. Not in the manner they wanted to. It's with a bullet, and it's the poster. Smoke's gone, and they now have to react fairly quickly. Foxy9's not going to catch the cross, but the info's there. Ash, we mentioned it before.
Oh.
He's a man of many more years than it looks.
30 seconds left.
Feeling like an experienced veteran while being a youngster at the same time, and while there's so little time for FNATIC, it's a full sprint. Chronicle's trying to make a play. The flash actually works.
Wow.
But now, Crashy steps up as well. These are the late game players. These are the guys that you look to in the clutch scenarios, but they still have to deal with texture. Chronicle, once again, that final boss that they have to deal with, sat at the back of the site. Not even moving, not budging, not giving anything away. Finally, he's been revealed and textured. He's the lab, but he's been immediately headshotted. It has to be the
my God,
here,
Chronicle is the fucking
Who
goat.
him at this stage? It is Chronicle to bring the round home. Was that 2v5?
God.
I think it was a 2v5, yeah.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable again that they're able to take
wow.
that backside. At least 2v4 definitely 2v4. With the backside fight off the Vice Flash. Yeah, 2v4. Backside fight goes in because of the Vice Flash after they've risked the push through the smoke there. Then this beautiful turn from Crashies, isolating both fights, landing Foxy9 and Karen. And sure, he goes down.
Oh my God.
Once you leave Chronicle in that
wow.
he's being reliable. And Genji know that this battle just became so difficult. They had the openings, they had the smokes down as well. Everything was going in their favor. And now it's going to be FNATIC favored to take this across the line. The defensive side's been good to both teams. But FNATIC, with one round win here, close out their opponent's map pick.
And that's Ash gone already. Not the start they were looking for. Managing to get past at least the paranoia, but it didn't matter. That's already texture dealt with. It feels like they're ramming ahead into a wall, and that wall... Oh, it's going to be orange. Oh dear, Foxy's tried to find a gap, and instead he's found absolutely nothing other than a bullet from Chronicle, leaving just 2 standing.
Another choke
we
to
saw a
Genji.
2v4. They need a 2v5 to stay in the map.
Yeah, 45 seconds to get in, and good read now by FNATIC. They've got the info to work with, and the decision is just to give up this A site. Let them plant, let them have it, and fight back in together. I like this. No risks being taken.
No props to FNATIC? All props to FNATIC.
A labored
doesn't
effort.
mean that
they
it still means like they still choked. I can't talk.
That's what gave
FNATIC played insane.
The second lease of life, the chance to fight their way back.
What a crazy win!
Surrounded here, a player in the
what
smoke,
a crazy win for
tagging
FNATIC.
him and taking him down, leaving Karen to do it all. But
GG,
the 1v5,
man.
the
wow,
ace is too
bro.
much to ask for. FNATIC somehow managed to
dude.
walk it all the way back. The 9-3 curse, it hasn't gone anywhere.
That's a tilter, man.
They were 9-2 down when the last round of the half and managed to turn this game around. It is a story of resilience as ever from FNATIC. But luckily this time we've moved away from the best of ones, Mitch. There is still a very good chance for Genji to turn this one around.
Oh my god, that's crazy. Wait, both streams are paused? I'm gonna go lay down.
While FNATIC, it may have been a bit more labored,
This
they
gotta be
were
my
up
last
against
one,
the
dude.
100 Thieves.
This gotta be
Who
my
knows
last one. I'm
who's
deep.
going to be favored in this matchup? Maybe Tom
This
does.
gotta be my last one.
Well, what I do know is that this could be a pretty
Did I
good
go on a vape
couple
break?
of best of threes for
I
EMEA
need a vape.
because
Okay, look, I don't
obviously
vape, but I
over
need a
on the other
vape.
stream, we've seen BBL
'Cause I don't think I'm gonna make
be
this
able
without a
to
vape.
take that matchup versus DRX in a 2-0
Let me hit the vape one time, bro.
fashion,
Please, I'm
definitely
begging
showing
you.
that they are here to
I'm
play
having
in
withdrawals right
a
now.
huge success for them. So I think FNATIC are going to
Who
want to
steel's having withdrawals because alcohol is illegal in Saudi? I'm having withdrawals because it's past my fucking bedtime by 15 hours.
Now we're going to be seeing those compositions locked in. No real crazy surprises coming through for either
Yo, this
side.
shit started when I went to bed and it's still on. You're telling me, bro. Been here for 10 hours. They don't fucking end the games, dude. It's fucking endless.
I think we've seen quite a few teams start to do the removal of that second initiator. And on the other side of things, of course,
Yeah, but closing soon, bro.
it's that Sage. We know that Chronicle is going to be sticking to that agent, and it's something that, again, I think it's become...
I took a nap
it sort of
yesterday
went out of
night.
fashion, came
I
back
slept
in
from
again,
10
maybe
p.m.
the
to 1
realization
a.m.
that
And now
there
I've been
really
awake for
hasn't
10
been
hours
found
watch
anything
partying.
better than that. And,
No joke, from this
yeah,
watch party today, I probably
FNATIC's
lost
been
1 day of my
working
life.
very well.
Well, we heard it
Like
even
on
recently
the-
from Anders, right, as to why this
like,
comp has
just
lasted so long.
repercussions in my
The
body.
reality is, this is a comp.
I probably lost 1
for
day of
this
my
map.
life
You look to the
doing
other
this.
side, it's not like they're lacking in all too much. For Gen G, earlier on today, as I said, this was a dominant performance from them. And this was where Foxy9, who was solid on that previous map, managed to go 24-9, 400 ACS, a 2.0 rating, and just
Doing it
about
again
every other
tonight.
stat going his way, as you could desire. Hell, I'm sure he had 100% cast. But who cares about that statistic? People that don't know the game. It's time to get on into this map and what could be the last of this series.
Why are my subs
For Gen
decreasing
G,
and not
they
increasing?
certainly hope that's not
Good
the
fucking
case.
question.
They attempt to bounce back and
You guys
bring
got
us
any
all
answers
the
for me?
way to Sunset. But first they'll have to get past FNATIC's bind, a task that 100 Thieves struggled with earlier today.
Yeah, I think the thing is, obviously going into this series, we talked about the fact that last time out, Gen G were able to take that victory over FNATIC, and I think they're a squad that, again, you look at the similarities between the map pool, this has always been
No,
one that
dexterity, no.
maybe not
Thank
winning
you.
every single time, like a bit more of a back and forth for the side of Gen G, but they absolutely bodied EDG earlier.
How many
Like,
subs
it
for me to
wasn't
host
even
my own
close, right?
EWC?
And I think it shows that that level of
Bro,
form
these
is
guys-
definitely there. We questioned
brother.
if Foxy9 was still going to be able to put up those sort of numbers. He kind of did in the last map, maybe slightly
Dog.
lower than it was before, but he was having high impact rounds. You still had texture online, so I think if you're a Gen G
Ludwig
fan,
Tarik
you don't have to be too worried just yet.
Is
But obviously
my
for
own
FNATIC, this has sort of
EWC.
been
Well,
their
no, it's
bread
not.
and
It's,
butter.
well, I
The
don't even know
6-on-1
what that means,
map, and
actually.
it's been a 6-map
Am I getting rage
streak
baited?
over the last 3 months.
This event is bankrolled by billionaires,
Question is,
yes.
Can they get off to a strong start
Literal
with Pistol?
billionaires.
Or will Gen G get that opportunity this time around?
We'll
I say
often see
one
as
wrong
well,
thing.
Once you have that super close map, that the second doesn't follow suit.
I'm
in the
streaming
same
on a
way.
Zubu.
The team that won carries the momentum forward, or there's a big bounce back in a dominant way. Let's hope that's not the case here. Already Kayak is the one to pick up the opening, put under pressure, but still delivering
Nah.
a triple kill and the dash to get out.
Genji are
And he'll be
tilted,
caught
bro. This is sad
eventually,
to see.
but quickly
Oh no, it's gonna be a
traded,
FNATIC
and
2-0. It might be
Ash
over.
is
No,
all
bro.
alone.
The day can't come to an end
With
this
a
early.
chance. Not even tagged up, but as the
Come
plant
on, bro.
goes
Let's go
through,
map 3, man. I'm
Crashies
begging
does
you.
as well, up
Come
in
on,
heaven
bro.
To put
Please,
1-0
dude,
on the board
please.
for FNATIC. What a round from Kayak.
Yeah, I think the only time I'll get truly
Are
worried
you gonna watch
in
the
this game
NRG
is if we
match?
start
My
to
eyes
see
are
this,
bleeding.
Like,
Do you hear
strong
me?
early start, because we saw that in the last map, but obviously that wasn't after sort of
I need
letting
NRG to
that
get
sort of
cancelled.
lead slip away. And we know with FNATIC, like, they're known for their comebacks, a lot less known for their chokes. So Kayak already.
Listen, no
I
joke.
sort of mention it a lot. I think it's something that
Who do
people
I gotta
could
talk
look
to
at
to
over,
reschedule the
again,
NRG
their
match?
Masters run as well. That this guy was brought in to replace Durka. Nobody thought that he could replace Durka. And he's done a damn good job at replacing him. Like, he's been super impressive. a calm head. Don't get me wrong. I'm still
J&M, literally
for my ball brother to make it back to that international stage later in the year, but realistically, it has been a meteoric rise from Kayak from that Ascension victory all the way to almost managing to win the first Masters he attended, which would have been absurd.
This is not my job, bro. This is a hobby, and people throw money at me.
Yeah, it was damn close.
I'm
not
literally
close enough. Second
basically
time,
a stripper.
lucky. Not usually how it works. For FNATIC, they'll certainly hope that this is where they claim their international title for the year. Genji on the walk-up, classics in hand. Disadvantage in every fight, and Boaster firing. A Sheriff through the smoke is what puts this even further into FNATIC's favor. And I mean, in this round, you don't expect a lot, but damage is always nice to at least pick up a couple of frags. And so far,
30 seconds left.
they're not even dealing damage. Everybody is healthy as when the barriers went up, well, at least on the FNATIC side.
I should sleep at 6 p.m. instead of 12. Word. I'll meet you at 6.
No, time is ticking. If they're going to go for a plant, they've got to do it now. And while Boaster's already got the spot that he was looking for. You know what? He didn't even want that kill. Didn't even want it. He wasn't that close to his ultimate anyway, so he was just hoping that somebody else would come along.
Take the orb.
A few warning shots. That's just what we're looking at. But realistically, the main thing is that they keep everybody alive. Like, that's those extra credits building, even just the less shields that have to be purchased up. And more importantly, opportunity for a few upgrades here. So I think we're going to see a pretty decent
it's getting ready.
buy for this defensive side. And well, the biggest thing on the screen, we saw it in the last map. Obviously, it was Althea.
I need to be playing while this is going
on that chamber.
Deep breath.
Now,
just imagine your cold pillow waiting for you. My pillow is warm.
Operator bought into round number 3.
Revealing area.
I think the predominant factor when it came to that off was texture, though. Big boots to fill.
He's role playing with himself.
He wants to have that same defensive impact.
We've lost it.
That his opposition did. Chronicle's being dropped up top. They have to concede. They have to play passive on this A site with a double push coming through mid. But there's a turret watching it. Haven't got the smoke to put down on it. It'll have to just be a cloud burst for the cross, but that's not worked out.
I have toxic friends who don't know how to play and always blame me should I stop playing with them.
To try to deal with this 3 players sent back, but walking into this up might not be the right play. It's giving Kayak an opportunity to.
It's not that bad to be in a toxic environment, man. It could build character. I think ride it out for 6 months.
Dead up on the belt. Ash is now surrounded and dealt with quickly. Texture with the pressure.
That's bonus for FNATIC.
Having to make a big play, and he'll do well to start, but he can't get out of that choke point.
Yeah, I like the attempt. You're up against a Guardian and an Operator. There's actually a pretty decent chance to get away with that one.
Most energetic watch party I've seen on Twitch.
Well. Like, I think the element of surprise was having that many players push behind, try and deal with that flank.
Why'd I read that?
Obviously, I think they sent in Munchkin first, who's already very low on HP. The fact is, though, it's mainly Althea just managing to deal with that pressure while pushing up above and then just allowing him to basically surround the remainder. And also, in the meantime, the other two are just fighting that 2v2 within the site.
What?
Impossible scenario, and that had to be a pretty
what the hell was that?
In the end from Kayak.
What the hell,
was getting pretty low.
Yeah, no, and you're spot on there, Tom. It's the fact that there's 2 players behind. The idea from Genji wasn't bad. Someone's flanking, let's isolate them. But they couldn't.
Someone in chat just wrote the numbers 30.
Can't quite get the isolation game going when they can cover all their bases. Now this smoke
honestly, that's even worse.
Directly stop
I know what he's
Kayak
trying to say. He just wrote 30.
His opening pick, but then they've crossed. He was just a pixel away from
that's even worse, man. He just wrote 30.
Doesn't land as he goes back out. And the flank up.
Wow.
C9's got a double. The Bulldog
labored.
working wonders.
Wow.
Will eventually meet his maker though, and with a relatively low investment, Genji putting up one hell of a fight, leaving Chronicle to do it all. Now everyone's one hit to him with that.
If Chronicle wins this round, I'll go to sleep.
In the open.
Yeah, he forgot to stand on top of another gun, but there we go. There we go. Got there in the end, but immediately dealt with. This round,
Tarik, how do I sleep 10 and 3?
Comedic effect. Like, I don't know.
How do I sleep 10 and 3?
It seemed like everything that could have gone wrong.
What the fuck does that mean?
Completely missed the player in middle. I don't know how. Like either because it's hard to find like until we sort of watch the replay. how he's managed to get this far. I don't know if there was just not an alarm bot placed that should have been, or maybe Alfia was meant to be catching that cross. Then you have almost a generational whiff from Alfia where he hits the headshot in the end. And then Chronicle loses a gun. That's around the...
Cover going out.
Well, I think if the socials guys are doing the replays, they're probably not going to pick that one.
How do you sleep 10 hours in 3 hours?
For sure. Certainly not this opening pick. Kayak down and out. The early stages of A aggression.
This is my longest stream ever.
This is a passive play from Gen G towards that A site. They've just left Foxy9 there.
I'm wasting my energy reading these comments.
Looks to push into Boaster. He's been good with the Sheriff so far, and that pistol, he was picking up kills, but a shot straight to the head ends any possibility of damage.
It seems like already. Sure, this is a weaker purchase, but I was starting to worry a little bit for Gen G.
Has anyone been here since the start of the stream? That's all I want to know. All 9.5 hours.
Pistols, and it seems like an immediate momentum shift.
Fucking lying
be careful. This time Chronicle does have a gun in his hand.
Who's been here all 9.5? No joke.
When it started to get close, this guy was unstoppable. He's ready and waiting. Already has now got that res online, but this is all about damage. They're going to have the finances for the next one. You keep swinging this guy, he's going to keep knocking them out of the park. That's a third already.
Bro, I'm not going to sleep. It's fine. Just turn off the alarm.
Gen G has dissipated. Now, bear in mind, they had some bonus credits from the guns that they saved. He's even predicted where Foxy9 is going to be. This might be an ace without ever stepping anywhere near the spike or the site.
Is he safe? He will be. He wants to get that off, though, and it looks like he will.
What? I can't. No, I'm streaming.
Great damage done on the other side. That is a remarkable way to... look, he doesn't win the round, but when you're in that position with so many players to take down, that's about as good of an outcome as you could possibly have hoped for.
Do I have to go?
And as you said, Tom, Chronicle has just been that clutch player. He has been there in every 1vx that we've seen him in. He's either winning the round, or like we've seen just there, he's making it costly, getting the best out of a bad situation. And that's not even a big reason. I think it's the reason that they won the previous map.
Stop. This is Tarik. This is annoying. Bro,
he's definitely not been at his best.
This is not a skit, bro.
Throughout this series,
what's happening?
Had a really rough first half of map 1. Came back into it, but as you mentioned, still wasn't the defining factor. I think I'd put it down to Crashy's Cron.
You should run.
And some Kayak. Already, though, they are under serious pressure.
Fuck, I think they're onto my vape in the bathroom, dude. I think my vape set off the alarm.
Into Caron, and while he just isn't missing a beat so far in this round. Finally, there'll be a response.
No joke.
FNATIC.
That one, like,
little too late.
I know they're doing drills, but that one didn't sound like a drill. Why would they say that?
Whether or not they can truly find some footing in this round. Now, they do have the res available, but you look
I'm not kidding. This is not a skip,
of all
bro.
of those remaining players.
Fuck.
How do you get to any of them?
I mean, I don't know. It's probably a drill. Whatever, dude. Fuck it.
You can hear it from Munchkin's POV. He knows these players are going towards spawn to save. Texture's watching for the crossover. So they've got them boxed in. And the late play coming through from Caron, even on 11 HP. He's looking to hunt some of these players down. He might get them. The corner's cleared. Oh, but only half cleared. He won't be able to deal with Chronicle. But Texture certainly will. At double to close it out from the Jet. Orbs online, ults in play, and Gen G
if it's not a drill,
swing. You know, I agree with you, Tom.
How do we figure out like what I do with my stream? I want my stream to continue even if I'm not here for it.
Slow to start.
Fuck.
But certainly picking up the pace now as these rounds go on.
Yeah, it was a very sort of quick pace start from FNATIC, but they've quickly crashed down to earth.
No, I mean like for like the future days. Okay, if I am no longer able to stream, I would like
a big gap found in middle,
like a different person to stream on my channel.
An operator into the hands of Texture was never
watch partying my content.
Again,
every single day a different person though. They just watch party the stuff I have done in the past.
We're seeing it here at 3-3. Very proactive with the pauses. The coaching staff don't want to.
They don't play anything. They don't watch anything else.
Maybe something more
they do 4 hours. Different 4 hours, different people, 6 different people a day, 4 hour segments, 6 people, every day different 6 for 1 year, and then my channel deletes.
And for the other side of Gen G, well, it looked like a little bit of a slow start from them, but the second they won that
for money,
low buy round,
they don't have to pay me now.
Stars started to step up.
I'll let them be on here for free.
Like a very different story. Credits in a pretty decent spot, and for FNATIC, that's not the case. It is going to be another weaker purchase.
Credits in a pretty decent spot after a round where Chronicle picked all of them off, got rid of the op as well. Like,
JNM, stop asking me to pay the mods. You're literally a fucking Nepo baby, bro. Everything you have was hand-fed to you, bro. It's fucking embarrassing, dude. Get a fucking job, man, please.
Looking to hunt down that player, clear out a few corners, but it is the flank they need to worry about. FNATIC have got a lot of weak weapons, a mixed bag of a buy. They've gone for this full spawn push, having ran through
God
B.
damn it, bro.
Has sacrificed Crashy's
Bro,
side.
JNM's...
And the hope here is that someone goes swinging deep into spawn.
He got the luckiest RNG and spawn, dude.
And now they have to fight their way through the
entirety.
entirety
Now he just sits in Twitch chat and trolls me.
Side.
The only thing they can really hope for is that they tunnel vision in and maybe forget about Althea, but they've already killed off Althea. Even still, it's brought back to a 3v3, but that time is going to become an issue. They need to get a move on. They're doing incredibly well.
Isn't he like 5'4"? I mean, yeah, but like...
just listen to
would you be okay being 5'4" Nepo, baby? Or would you rather be 6'1" and poor?
The round's not going to be going their way, and neither will any of the other kills. You met Texture on the other side. Not quite a 4K, but it is a 3K, and Gen.G will now take the lead for the first time.
I'm going 5'4" and Nepo, baby.
Again, the same as the previous map. You're seeing Texture on form, but this time on that attack side, finding so much impact when he's given the opportunity. You think back to that attempted save 2 rounds ago. And sure, he might not have been a big part of the early round, just taking space. But once there were players on his screen, once he had the chance to take a fight, he was winning it. And the same is true here. In full form, 9 and 5. And Chronicle almost matching up, but a lot of those are exits.
If I give you 10K for every inch of height I take off of you, how many inches are you giving?
Full investment, operator in
10K per inch of height we remove from your body.
The breadline. They need to take this round. They need it to at least be close.
You're not giving 10K an inch?
Operator back in the hands of Kayak with deep control. Already
4
there,
inches,
so
I'm 6'4".
To then be the gamble rotation.
Damn, you sell out to 6'0" for 40K?
Chronicle just spotting for mid. They don't want to give up that spot that they already did earlier. But for Gen.G, this is much more patient and passive. With a Viper's Pit available, maybe the plan is to just get into that A site. And already with Paranoia sent through, they are under pressure.
FNATIC have everything except Blade Storm. That's why the lockdown goes in so early. Boaster almost falls.
8 inches, I'm 5'10", I'm willing to be short.
For the defensive side now is just one shot needed to take him down. Hunter's Fury put through. It already been burned up by Gen.G, so of course, no counter to the lockdown. They have to give up the space. Munchkin gets dropped. So too does Foxy9. Okay, we're back in the game here. FNATIC with a chance to pull this across the line. The wall already broken. The defuse tap to bait them into the open, and that's exactly what it does. It forces the fight. It brings them in to the crosshair of the waiting players, most of which was Chronicle. A triple
Sleep
kill
deprived
for him.
Tarik is funny.
Someone
was telling me to never show up on stream well rested again.
The impact flowing.
I don't know what to do with that.
He's doing. He's using those exit kills just to warm up, and now they walk towards his crosshair, and he domes every single one of them. It's another big round from him individually. I don't mind the idea, again, for the side of Gen.G, but it really became a problem for them when Munchkin got eliminated. You were hoping that that Viper's Pit would sort of buy you a lot of extra time, and I believe it was Althea that managed to eliminate him. Potentially even just on the edge of the pit.
Oh, they started. NRG lost pistol. I think we should finish this map, right? And then we'll go there after.
This is probably what the pause was for.
Let's stay here. Is anyone even watching? Half the people in the chat are typing and the other half are actually watching.
This was what allowed them to have the gamble.
I assume the people watching have just zoned me out.
It's going to be challenged this time.
Players already up top. Kayak's in trouble,
I'm split screen right now.
The pressure on all sides, but it was just Munchkin.
Watching, but not really though.
Taking a double, and the B site's theirs.
Yensu, did you get your WWE working yet? We're waiting still.
Hunter's Fury to fight the way back through to reveal some players.
We want you on John Cena.
It's an old tough round, but when push comes to shove, but it's only rifles in play. It seems to be Gen.G with a resounding victory. Well, Karen, unfortunately, that Paranoia did not land, but still, at 2 versus 4, the FNATIC are left in.
There seems to be the story of their game so far. It's like they have these close fought rounds, retakes that are a battle and a
I
war,
was working your, I was ready to pwn like Jordan and Eric. Yeah, I lost you, but that's okay.
The way they've been able to take this one home. I want to point out as well, I think Munchkin before this round had 1 kill. And then he's just gone, all right, IGL taken over, double entry, job done. It shows again, you can say this for both sides, but the individual depth that is there for Gen G that the guy that's leading the way can just take over a round like that with relative ease. And I think a lot of it just came down to maybe catching Kayak off guard a little bit. And that's the thing we're seeing with this same smoke that's being placed down. Normally you have that vision all the way down in towards that B main position.
Oh no.
But when was this needed?
We didn't need a replay.
Well, was that necessary?
Yeah, you might not believe this, but the fist bump was for the end of the round, not for that spray.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think so.
Well done, you got him eventually.
Yeah. Nice try, fist bump.
What the fuck just happened? Where'd he ult?
It is going to be an A push. You've
Am I
already heard
tweaking
the
out?
rotation come through, and you know they've been doing well to pressure off those B main plays. That smoke's been causing a lot of issues. Now they're leaving them to have that control. They're playing in towards the site with the Viper's Pit, finding a pick onto Alfier, sure, and just straight up going for the plant.
Yeah.
Also in place to bait.
Beautiful start to the round for Gen G.
Well, yeah, they were maybe hoping.
Alfier is a fucking bot. If Alfier is a bot, then what the fuck are you?
It hasn't though. Into the post plant they go. Of course, fighting from this angle can be quite tough, especially once that wall goes back up. That's why you see Texture sort of playing ahead of it. He's hoping that maybe he could bait this. The wall also needing to be broken, but it has been. Gaps being found. Chronicle's done well, but there is the surprise from Texture once again. Even manages to escape his awkward corner and get back out of there, and now has the backup of Foxy9 to finish the job.
React.
A wonderful little angular, and that's sort of the value you get with a superstar jet from Texture. You can have that post plant, you can have the shock darts, you can have the nanos, you can have all of that ratty little utility, and then you have the man that makes it awkward, where he's just hiding around in these little corners. The second that hit drops, it's all too easy for him.
Well, that man was to beat Charon, but he was put smokes down as they ran back in the pit, so he got he had to get them with the claws, and it didn't quite work out for him. But yeah, it is just remarkable how reliable Texture has been, a safe pair of hands in almost every engagement like that.
I would complain about the observers, but I ain't trying to get him in trouble out there.
Always able to find a few. Kayak with the reposition. This time he's on the A site. Blade Storm's
very neutral over here.
One of the main weapons that they have to work around. The main pieces of
Never mind, what Blade Storm? I didn't even see a Blade Storm. I think you were lying. I don't think there was one in this round.
Yeah, I think he used it last round.
He used it right at the end just before he died, and yeah, never even had it in this round. Don't replay that. Don't replay that.
Doesn't have an orb, but
bad movie recommendations. F1.
Yeah.
With Brad Pitt.
But seriously, like that was a real chance.
That is the movie you should watch.
They didn't know where he was, and a complete whiff is now just.
That is the movie I want to watch.
Gen G, a 7th round cleanly. They are in a 5v1.
Hey, you know they like
most mid movie ever.
They're gonna push him one by one.
Are you guys fucking? Are you stupid? I haven't watched it, and I know you're like.
You're wrong. For that incredibly long time.
K-pop Demon Hunters.
Don't you dare Texture!
What?
Get himself the knife to take out Chronicle with a stab to the back, and well, they've got themselves a flawless round and an elimination. See, that smirk scares the hell out of me. Look, that's not a man who's just
watch
knife. That's a man
the
who's
summer
going,
of
you will regret that discrepancy.
Hikaru.
You will live to regret what you have done to me.
That is just out of line.
He's gonna ace this round. I'm ready.
It's beautiful as well.
He's gonna res someone to watch him ace.
It's almost poetic because Kayak tried to get them with the knives, and instead it was Texture.
K-pop Demon Hunters is really good. Wait, what is that? I don't even know what that is.
Sorry, yes, no, my bad. Yes, he didn't use the Blade Storm. Doesn't have it now, and let's not ask ourselves why. Texture doesn't have his Blade Storm either. He's been dealt with, and Kayak good to take down Karen. Okay,
wait, really?
That's not a great start though. He has been immediately traded out. Luckily, the res is there, and he was down below.
I'm writing it down.
Easy escape as they reset him into a 5v4.
And he's down below until he flies into the air. Here we go. Lockdown available.
How good is Kayak?
But
he's fucking insane, bro.
The counter.
I don't know how you want me to quantify it, but he's fucking insane.
is online on the other side. Operator in
crack
hand
mechanic
for Boaster. Now, if this was a few years ago, we might be questioning this, but it's normal at this
point.
This guy loves to pick up an operator, might genuinely be his best weapon, and that's already going to be one pick to his name, using the orb in an attempt to get out of there, but Munchkin is going to try and push through it. The element of surprise and almost doubled up once again. Texture currently on completely the wrong side of the map.
Alert.
He's just waiting for Kayak, and it seems like at this stage, Kayak is aware.
Still got the kill. Kayak, I'm sorry, I jinxed you, bro.
Himself the kill.
That's not even your fault.
Now the question is on to
Wait, what?
Proxy 9.
What the fuck? The KJL doing there?
No, he's going to try and run back, and that is
he going to make it across?
Chronicle is on that cross. Getting past this is not going to be easy. He's not got time, really. He's got to run.
Yeah, he can sprint, though. Yeah, it's such a small gap.
Oh, let's let him go.
Chronicle. 14 seconds. Spike can make it there. Texture has a delay. If he falls, the round's already over. 10 seconds.
Oh my god, that almost lined up.
It's time to run, and now it should be done.
No, don't kill me! Wait, Sobold.
To dodge that Hunter's Fury, but
he canceled it. He's like, oh, I didn't do that.
Head delivered. A wonderful half. Let's see what happens in
Is the new Jurassic Park good? There's a new Jurassic Park, too? Jurassic Park. Oh, wow. Jurassic World Rebirth. That's a fun movie, no? I like watching the Jurassic Park movies. Superman's coming out too? Wait. Oh my god, turn this fucking dog shit off. Wait, there's a lot of fucking movies out there right now, eh? We're kind of thriving. That's Superman's coming out with a new movie as well? Oh. Superman 2025. Damn. When does that come out? I don't even know. July 11. Damn. Damn. There's too many movies. I see Sinners. I did see Sinners. We saw Sinners in the theater. It was a good movie, but we went to the theaters and me and Ellen were sitting next to a couple that smelled like crazy body odor. So we were just fucking there miserable the whole time. It was miserable, yeah. Like there's nothing we could do. And also there's no other seats in that theater that were available. Like the whole thing was packed. So we couldn't even move. I even thought about leaving and going home, but yeah. All right, here we go.
Well, yeah, it was a 9-3 defensive half when they faced up against EDG as well, so I think that's where they're feeling confident. It's also worth noting that these teams have only ever played each other twice at previous Masters events, one very recently. The first was a while ago.
Don't know if you should watch F1 or Jurassic Park. I would say F1, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Victory for FNATIC, and then two
F1 looks like a sick-ass movie.
Foxy 9 back on this defensive side and driving.
Would do a lot for Genji to win this pistol. 4v3, big wrap coming around the back of the side. 3 players behind that wall. But for now, FNATIC even have a safe space to try to get this plant down.
F1 and 4D max? What is 4D max?
The shock dart thrown through, still not
the 4D?
Crashy's desperately low. Boaster trying to be the snake in the grass behind the box. He's grabbed one. Looking for more as that orb goes down.
The seats move?
He has the timing, and there it is. It's dropped. A big fight for him.
Bro, this is not a roller coaster ride, bro.
Ash falls as well.
Let's grow up,
It's all
JNM.
left onto Munchkin. The flank coming around, they suspect it. Why is he not with the rest of the group? It's because he's rapping. They've made the right read. Both players so very low. A shot needed for Munchkin onto Crashies. 2 for
I remember in
Chronicle,
Universal they would have those
delivered
fucking
by the
things
man
where you sit in the
himself.
seats and
Coming
like
up
it
clutch
starts blowing
when
air
they
in you
needed
and like spitting in your
another
face
pistol
and
for FNATIC.
shit.
I
Was it the
guarantee
Shrek
if
one or something?
FNATIC win this map, it's Chronicle at the top. Like,
without a doubt.
Especially after being knifed Like, I'm gonna have nightmares. That's gonna be like my sleep paralysis demon. It's just him smoking after being
I think it was a Shrek ride, no?
Couldn't have given less of a damn about being knifed.
I don't know what it was. Bugs Life?
He's gonna take home an
I think it was
important
Shrek.
pistol round for FNATIC.
Am I allowed to be unhinged
9-3
here?
down in the last map. Only 7-5 down in this one, and he is up there. Iman,
hey, we're not gonna stop you.
Leading the way just to kill difference.
No, this is actually sick. Universal is the best amusement park.
Got themselves an orb. Try and drop as many guns as possible. It's 3 rifles.
It's like the Harry Potter world and everything. I don't know if they still have that,
well,
but
the weaker weapon has already started with a kill.
Yeah, Cal damage. That's what we're looking for.
Nah.
How much can Genji take out of the hands of FNATIC for the next? Much reinvestment?
NRG score check. 3-3.
And their hopes and dreams are that it will be an A push so they can pounce on them with the numbers that they had. But as time
I have no
away,
live feed, so I'm watching
they start to
Tarik.
doubt that it'll be a play in this direction.
Willius?
You can already see that Charon is moving back towards mid.
Aren't you with NRG?
About that lurker for good reason. FNATIC are taking it back to the other side, back to Foxy9. It was 20 HP with a classic. If he gets even one, he can't even push up all the way because he heard the turret. If he gets one kill here,
sitting in
I
front of
am
them right
going to
now.
be impressed.
Okay, no joke. Give me a number. How much for you to pull Sam's PC plug?
30 seconds left.
Give me a number.
A bit of a blunder. And yeah, Bo's just not letting that one slide.
I have this fight.
Oh, don't forget the wall.
No.
Come on, don't
Question
forget
mark?
the wall.
What just happened? Never mind. You're good, bro. Enjoy the match.
I think it was only used once in the last half, and it was in the last round.
Anyone notice that the ad blockers ain't working on Twitch anymore? The fuck's the ad blocker, bro?
Boys might be thinking about going down to the spike. Don't want to give any more orbs over to a Chronicle or a Boaster, who are starting to climb up with the orbs. This is the man that's hunting. Okay.
Yo,
yeah,
chill!
It was going to be Alpha, yeah. Now, they can't afford anybody else to die. I don't expect to see anybody on the FNATIC side peeking at this stage. Your 3 rifles are still intact. Anything more, and one of those guns is gone. And for Genji, they're sort of in the same boat. We don't want to give the orbs over. We'll just die to the spike.
And indeed, that's how it will go down. The spike taking out the
last. It'd be funny if the people blocking the ads had a fucking badge next to their name.
Those precious orbs on the other side. They did give another orb to Chronicle by shooting him through the smoke, but a trade-off that they're more than happy to take. Any way to take him down at this point.
Oh my god, what should I order after stream? This is going to be the most satisfying meal of my life. 10-hour stream. I'm fucking so tired. I'm going to fucking food coma myself for like
in fact, 2 players are coming in with light shields, and with Alfie,
I'm going to food coma so fucking hard that I might just wake up
a dangerous round
feeling fucking great.
7-7.
Oh, this is fucking exciting.
And Genji, it's not really an aggressive
All right,
fight.
7 up. Let's focus on the game here, people.
And then backing off. The texture,
I might actually develop eye bags from what I'm doing, dude.
Normally means he's about to do something.
If I get really dark eye bags, I'm going no face cam. I don't give a fuck, dude.
Opposition.
Or
See though, there's a fair few players waiting around that corner. There goes the swing, and he gets out of there scot-free. Garon has taken a bit of a tag, so needs to be a bit more careful with it. But they are still just looking to fight.
What the fuck is Tajak doing, bro?
Finally put down by Alpha, yeah. And you can see immediately, Karen's like, no, I'm out. Texture's dead. I'm low. I don't need to give this man advantage up, especially when you're up against that bonus round.
Even without the big gun,
this is not looking good.
He's so terrifying.
This kill on B is everything.
To play against. Now, they've taken a lot of space on A. FNATIC can push them all the way back, but they're sending it in the other direction. Munchkin, tucked in, needs to be cleared, and Boaster's gone the other way.
Oh.
The wall that's up actually gives him a bit of a gap.
The screen down.
You need to make sure, first of all, the spike doesn't go alone.
30 seconds left.
Secondly, the spike doesn't go this direction that they haven't cleared, but it is. Chronicle's going to give him a chance, an opportunity, but the shots aren't hit. And now, Munchkin knows he's probably surrounded.
Wait a fucking minute.
Gone, though. And a 3v3. With
Wait a singular fucking minute.
A much bigger role now. There's no utility to section him off inside
Chronicle has res, but no one's here.
Oh! Onto Karen. That he absolutely does. The pressure on as Foxy9 feels surrounded, gets pushed into Boaster.
They won that round.
Up a triple.
Damn.
And FNATIC walk away with the round win.
Damn.
That's surprising. You consider those 2 opening picks coming up for Texture.
Get your boasties going.
They put themselves themselves into a good
Oh
position.
my goodness
And then
gracious.
that conversion coming through from FNATIC. Lead taken, but it's more so just the damage that it's done. Boaster being able to catch that timing, and that sort of seems to be the story of the round. Just players not ready for
Holy
the positions that they're for from.
They like the immersive.
Oh, that's got to be a frustrating one. You know as well that FNATIC in the second half so far has
Dicks
been
out for Harambe, balls out for
better of the
Boaster.
two, but also heading into their attack side of this map in general has always been incredibly strong, and it seems like Boaster maybe was just warming up in map number 1, because right now he's on fire.
Well, maybe Big Time can lip read and translate some of the Korean, but I imagine Texture was saying something along the lines of, what more can I do? Picks up a double opening in the round, just spirals out of their control.
Boaster said, Boaster go
FNATIC
kill.
In the lead, FNATIC with rifles, ultimates coming online
Fucking
as well.
genius.
Advantage in this round, obviously, when it comes to the weapon.
Hey guys, watch your
retake
flank.
needed by Genji will send them into Alpha Year. Nobody
Come on,
with
bro.
shields. It's a double barrel operator. It's in the hands of Alpha Year, even more
it's
terrifying. You see exactly why. Looks way too easy.
God damn it, these guys are talking to each other about which blocker is better.
All they can really hope for.
They're having a full blown out conversation about the
It only
blockers.
amounts to 1.
Guys, take it out of here,
That's
man.
a scary sight. The
Don't
FNATIC
fucking
players just laughing away.
do it
as
in
they make that
DMs,
one look
dude.
Easier 4-0 start in the second half after it was a 7-5 half in favor of Genji. But this is where we wait to see the response. The other worry is that they haven't had to use any of the ultimates.
I blocked my ads
building
using
up.
my
I
Prime
think
subscription.
Alpha gets his
And that's why I
one
fuck with
away.
you.
In this round, I think Boaster had it already. The Res is also online, so they are not only building economy in terms of the finances.
Want
but
an ad
the
real quick? I want
ultimates
to check my ad block.
firmly
All right,
in their
bet.
favor for now. Ash does have that Hunter's Fury at least, and Bladestorm's not far away, but this is what we were
I
looking
actually
for.
ran one, so the people that are watching them, I'm
Operator in the
sorry.
hands of Texture.
They don't
He's
hear
still
me,
been
but I'm sorry
incredibly
to
good
them.
with the rifle,
It's
but
60
this
seconds, a short
is
one.
where he becomes the maestro in the server.
They will miss this entire round.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Never mind. I think I've jinxed him. I just didn't expect anybody to have got that far. Well, that's the easiest pick of the day for Kayak.
Could have went for a knife kill of his own if he fancied it. That'd have been a bit risky.
Wait, Yinsu got an ad?
Just
Oh,
climb the
fuck.
rope in front of Texture.
Everyone, Pog, make it seem like something crazy happened. Everyone go crazy, be like, oh my god, Pog, whoa.
A wonderful opening duel, and again, you know, the gap exploited by FNATIC. Ash,
Make it seem like
he's
Boaster's
pulled things
something
back
crazy.
in their favor. Chronicle dealt with after just one of the spike, now dropped in the open. Look at the space that Boaster has found, but there's nothing to do with it anymore. Munchkin having pushed up in B main, that flank around.
Wait, you guys are low-key. You guys are
long
gaslighting me.
time to come to fruition.
For a second, I was like, wait, did he do something crazy for real?
Lockdown will send
You
them
guys are
back
selling it
and
pretty well.
back
that's what
into
they
the
want.
waiting arms of Boaster. That's a free pick with Ash desperately low, and it was a headshot anyways. Somehow, they've recovered this fumble.
Well, yeah, it's recovery on recovery. The initial work from Ash was fantastic, but
Planted.
maybe some slight over-eagerness. Now it's left on to Munchkin. He did at least for a second manage to isolate the jaw, but he's now got a Viper's Pit in mid. The spam battle, but Munchkin just can't take that for much longer because his HP will be dropped. Either has to try and
the
wrap
hell
around
is
back
happening
through
here?
heaven, or just hope that maybe he can create some disparity, hope that he can find the opposing Viper in the pit, but his HP ticks down by the second. He still manages to kill.
Tarik out.
The problem, though, is that time has been ticking the whole time. He needs to kill off Althea within a matter of seconds. He needs to get onto that spike. Around the corner.
Bro?
Althea goes. It's 10 for FNATIC as they start to run away with
NRG
this
winning
map.
6-4.
You always know trouble's brewing when you see him take out that shorty. He is an animal.
You gotta be a dumb fuck to run an ad in the middle of the match, bro. I'm so fucking sorry, no joke. I'm actually so fucking sorry because it was an accident.
This double
Damn.
opening from Ash.
You don't have to make me feel bad about it though.
remarkable.
Like, that's pretty fucked
And it
up,
all
dude.
goes down to Alpha here. Being able to land those picks as they push forward, close it out here with a second onto Munchkin. Send players back towards Boaster, who were already tagged so desperately low.
We've officially approached the 10-hour
Everything
mark.
added up to victory.
I'm on 3
there as
hours of sleep,
lockdown
10
buying
hours
them
of
the
stream.
space they
You
needed.
cannot tell me this is not harder than a 9
And
to
it
5
felt
job,
there
bro.
like they found the golden path.
No, I'm not
There
gonna have
was
that
one
conversation right
road
now
to
for another day.
victory, And
I'll
Alpha
get
Air
mad. I'll
led
get
them
legit
there.
mad right now.
With Boaster's
I'll
flank
legit
playing a
get
big
fucking
role.
mad as fuck,
For
dude.
Gen.G, that's got to be
I'll
a
legit-
devastating
no.
way to lose
The whole
that round.
fucking 10
Especially when
to
you
have this
consider the
talk right
last
now.
couple,
Tomorrow.
really, for this squad. There's been a few opportunities this half that felt like they were definitely going to go their way. and then it swings the other way. This is the clutch FNATIC we were missing in the first map.
This is how you know that the players are listening when he doesn't have the earphones on. He is just straight, just like, yeah, just so you know, guys, don't have the earphones on, not listening to you. This is what you
working
need to
9 to
be
5
doing.
and see how much harder it is.
And to be honest, when Solo talks, you listen. There is no arguing. There is no response.
I like the challenge. This is definitely harder.
Him and HSK.
Let's focus on the game here, guys.
Legends dating back all the way to Counter-Strike. There were a few to sort of play through the Korean scene.
That was the one time.
And I said, well, when they start giving you information, you better be taking it in. And while maybe it was to put Texture into these aggressive positions, just looking to try and take the fight immediately with the Blade Storm, but he hasn't found anything. It is a very passive hold from FNATIC. I don't think maybe the response was, all right, everything's been going awfully.
Wait, some people are actually trying to argue for my side.
Do something aggressive.
By the way,
sit back, wait until
I'm
you
not
know
gonna
what
clarify.
it is.
Fuck it.
A winning here for FNATIC, making it to playoffs. An extra 15K guaranteed, even if they bomb out there.
They're not serious, by the way. Some of them are. Those are my stands right there.
They would be fighting for survival down in that lower bracket.
Those are my stands in the chat, being like, "You right, King.
To win this map,
You right, King.
Back, find that momentum, and then take the next." Ah, that's not what you want to see. That's definitely not what you want to see. Whiffy on both sides, but Texture, who's been so reliable for Genji. I think it was 2 knives fired out. Then he took his other blade out.
I think he'd already shot some of them earlier. That was all he had left.
What happens?
Makes more sense.
What's harder, this job or playing the finals of Boston Major?
He managed to find that pick into middle, and then is on that wraparound behind. There are
it really does get mentioned like almost once a day. And it's not me bringing it up.
And neither does Munchkin. It's almost identical on other sides, but neither is quite capitalized.
Watching this match is way harder than the Boston Major. FaZe was free.
That time is ticking in FNATIC's favor, though. Munchkin still going.
We had him right where we want him. They had no fucking clue.
Needs to be dealt with, but he's just playing it calm, playing it patient.
Yeah, what's happening here?
He's going to be going out, but he's just going to try and stick it as much as he can, and well, he can't for long. Alpha yet again mentioned it in the last map that he definitely wasn't in the form that we'd seen over in Masters Toronto, but right now,
what is this fucking shot?
That's him and Boaster in that clutch.
No joke.
The snake bite forces you off, and it makes it easy for Alpha. Body shots all that's needed with the vulnerable.
I have a talk with the cameraman after the VOD. If I see the VOD, I go to the cameraman, I slip him a 20. I'm like, listen, don't zoom in on me.
With the flank that Boaster makes up through mid. So much space found. That's 11-7, and most hope for Genji sat in that previous round. They used up their Blade Storm already, so 2 rifles in play and not a lot else to fall back on. A Viper's Pit and a lockdown at least, and certainly economy
7-11.
But with Crashy's having a Hunter's Fury of his own, it's not going to be as simple as pushing players back with that lockdown. There is a simple rock to scissors response for FNATIC. A res for Chronicle in case anything gets a little risky.
At a page,
yeah. And a massive advantage in terms of weaponry when it comes to most of these fights.
What the fuck does this guy say?
Back against the wall.
Genji are cucks. How the fuck do you lose your own map pick with a 9-3 lead?
To pull off some pretty magical
does that make him a cuck? How does that make them cucks?
Like the streak in the first half where they just had that one standout play. It was the mid push that came through from Foxy9. Gave them just that little bit of wind in their sails.
Enemy tag.
We haven't seen anything like that for a while. Most of the clutches, most of the
Did he fall by
have
accident?
gone back towards FNATIC. Even the cheeky bits of aggression haven't been succeeding. Seen a fair few whiffs as well. Munchkin, though, has been one of the glimmers
of
hope.
What does cuck mean?
This is an angle that has not been cleared. The first is for free. There's plenty more to be had, though. And Boaster very quick.
It means instead of buying a Vandal for yourself, you'd rather drop it to your teammate.
Once again. Unfortunately, they haven't got that gun back yet.
And the res is just going to be popped here.
You will not
immediately bringing Alpha back.
I don't know.
Advantage in play again for FNATIC, and they're looking immediately. Chronicle just continues that push back towards their own spawn, eliminates Ash. Boaster threading the needle under the bridge, gets an easy pickup, and Texture, reliable as he has been. This is way too much to ask. It's the IGL of FNATIC to put them onto 12 with a triple kill, and it's all smiles on that side of the stage. Just
watching your duo play with someone else and enjoying it.
To bring them to playoffs, to lock in that
15K, what's wrong with that?
to send Genji down into the
That's
danger
the
zone.
What's wrong with that?
Key could be crushed.
God damn it, bro. I'm no different.
As well. And I think that you have to talk about a lot of the sort of critique that was coming through onto Boaster and his individual play when it came to Master
12-7 match point. Genji, low-key,
right now,
pretty bad loss for them today, mainly because of Ascent.
With the best of the best. And I don't just mean in terms of the leadership, I mean in terms of individually. He's currently out fragging.
Wait, Boaster's top fragging?
On his own team. I think he's 19 and 12.
What?
Those definitely haven't been exit kills. Those have been him taking over the site.
Shit?
Definitely feeling confident, and why not? They are yet to lose a round in this second half.
Down.
Utility removed by the shock dart, and then Crashies follows up by removing the utility
laser.
No. That is a risky play from Ash and a complete misread on the space taken by FNATIC. A 5v3, a Hunter's Fury sent in, but Munchkin stands his ground. Unfortunately, Kayak takes that ground back. The same angle that he found a pick in just moments ago as he catches Caron off. And now Alfier slipping past undetected.
Over to NRG we go.
This is the end for Genji in this series. Munchkin needing an ace, a 1v4 to stand a chance, and he won't even get close. FNATIC
domination.
Take this series.
Domination on the second half.
Yeah, what an utterly dominant second half. That was an 8-0 second half from FNATIC.
Genji looked pissed as fuck, I'm not gonna lie.
To get into the game, a 9-round streak.
Boaster just fucking dunked on him.
Number one, but they built back in. And okay, sure, we saw a little bit of Genji
I want to see the fist bumps. Hold on.
half of this map, but when they got going, it seemed like FNATIC were impossible
I'm here for the drama.
to stop. The group of death made it look easy, and that's the first time they've ever beaten Genji as well. So another
don't give him a hug, bro.
On their path.
He's dangerous right now.
Of course, for Genji, this isn't the end. They're not getting their key crushed just yet. They will still be going into that.
All right, we're out of here. GG's. GG, well played.